Hey guys, how's it going? I'm MegaGWolf and welcome back to the Sonic Fan Showcase. Today we're going to be checking out the newly released update to Sonic Robo Blast 2. Now I'd like to state that since my previous video on this, almost 2 years ago, I haven't really played it, so I guess if you haven't played it in a while, you might not recognize some of the changes and optimization. But they do have a full changelog on the website, so if you feel like reading through that, you can. I will mention most of the important stuff. Now, one of the bigger things for people who play this game a lot, and it wasn't necessarily noticeable right away for me, although, again, I haven't played it in a while, was the fact that they've improved the hit detection. So it might just mean you won't get stuck on like invisible things, and hitting enemies become easier, picking up stuff becomes easier, this, that, and the yada 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 yada. But one thing I did feel myself is the fact that they've increased the speed limitations, which means now you can just zip through the levels, and the spin dash at full speed is ridiculous. I could see there being many ways you could break the game by doing the spin dash and then jumping right away. It's actually a tactic I use in some of the later levels because it just skipped a lot of things. Lots of little graphic changes have been improved. For example, all of the shields, rather than being recolors, are like new sprites and stuff. When I recorded this before, I used the standard .exe version of the game, which basically, in a lot of ways, makes the colors kind of a bit weird. And playing in the OpenGL version makes everything nice and smooth and colorful. I think it's a change between like 16 and 32-bit. I'm not sure though. But one of the biggest changes that people will probably get a kick out of is last time I said I didn't know about the special stages of the game. Originally I didn't know what they were. I thought that the emeralds was the little emblem thing I just got a minute ago. Well, that's actually a way to access the special stages, which have been changed quite a bit. Now the special stages have you playing Nights into Dreams while collecting blue orbs. These are really enjoyable, and probably one of my favourite parts of the game now. They can be a bit difficult, but the learning curve is nice, and you learn how to maximise what you're doing in the end. And of course there are 7 of them, and they grade you as well, so you can go back for high score runs or try and do levels as quickly as possible and do laps to get more points. So just like Nights into Dreams, I guess. Now, Techno Hill Zone has actually gone through a few changes. The water that once upon a time hurt you when you jumped into it now has a jello consistency, which essentially means that if you jump into it, you'll start slowing down and then rising to the top again. Although I don't really think that jello is probably the best way to describe what's going on there, but I can't really think of something to say to describe it. But that isn't the only change to Techno Hill. There's a big rearrangement of the second act. And I don't mean a familiar layout with just a few changes. I mean the entire level is completely different. Like, they're using this new mechanic, it is completely different. The new jello-like gimmick all depends on how high you jump. So the higher you jump before you hit the jello, the further down in the jello you go. I just like being able to say jello because it's a funny word. But I do think people will get a kick out of the new level layout and gimmicks that this level these levels have to offer. There has been a change to Castle Eggman Zone Act 2. Unfortunately, I don't have any footage of that, and they've also added a boss to it as well. The emblem system has changed, so they're now consistent to all characters, and they're all over the place, and there's different ways to get them, like score attack, time attack, and finding them throughout the level, and just general polish to the existing levels. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about my experiences with Robo Blast 2, because last time I didn't do what I have this time. I played the entire game, from start to finish. They have also changed the final boss to, as they like to call it, to be actually fun. I heard what it was before, and no. But originally I got comments on the first video I did of this warning me of some of the later stages in their so-called difficulty, and I kind of looked at it and thought, okay, well, people are saying it's difficult, but it can't be as bad as they're saying, right? I was wrong. Hours was spent on Egg Rock. Hours! So many hours. This game, this gets hard. I actually played Egg Rock Act 1 and 2 often enough to pretty much get them down to no death runs in the end. Because what murderized me whenever I got to it was the third act. And people were surprised that the third act existed. It's like they almost didn't know it existed. I wonder why. Egg Rock Zone 3 has you racing Metal Sonic. Now, not only is the level layout deviously evil, you're on a time limit. You'd think the whole game prepares you for a moment like this, but as soon as you're put on a time constraint, oh boy, your brain just goes, oh god, I gotta press all the things, I gotta jump over here, I gotta do this, I gotta stay ahead of the game, oh god, what's going on? But holy shit, that satisfying feeling when I finally beat the guy, that was amazing. Honestly, this game still as hard as balls, but the new update adds some fresh things and some lovely polish to the game, so if you've been a big fan or haven't played in a while, then it's worth checking it out because it adds, you know, a nice flair to what you're used to. And they are constantly bringing out patches now. For the last few days, there's already been 3 patches because of various bug fixes and stuff people have been reporting on. So this might be the best time to dust off a copy of Sonic Robo Blast 2. You should try and beat it because the final boss is actually quite enjoyable, so it's worth fighting. These have been my experiences with Sonic Robo Blast 2. The actual full playthrough of me playing it is saved on my Twitch. It consists of a few hours of me going through all the normal stages and then about 4 or 5 hours on Egg Rock alone. Thank you for watching this episode of the Sonic Fan Showcase. I'll see you on the next. Okay, thanks, bye.